Hello everyone, we're here with Mr. Mohammed Meraj Hoda from Cisco. Mohammed, would you like to say hello to our visitors?
Hello, nice to be here on this meeting or in this presentation.
Wonderful stuff. Great, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Mohammed. What do you do at Cisco?
Yeah, I'm Managing Director for Cisco Home Networking Business for emerging markets. It's a big territory, close to 101 countries, based out of Dubai. And I handle the Cisco consumer business.
All right, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about your new project at Cisco. I mean, the new routers that have some interesting features to them.
As we all know that the technology is in transition, and Cisco is focused on driving the specific products and technology that caters the needs of the consumer, and it's always under the evolution. And what we have seen is the mobility is growing pretty fast. What we have seen is what we're experiencing is number of devices in the home is growing much faster than the GDP of the world. If you see today, it's close to 19 billion devices in the next 2 years that is going to be connected. In the next 6 years, it's going to be 50 billion devices. What does it all mean to is there are more and more people will be connected, and there will be more and more people who will be mobile, and they want to have a seamless experience whether they're at home or whether they're at move. Cisco has identified these specific technology transition that is happening, and we are making investment with our smart Wi-Fi router. How do we simplify all this connectivity piece? How do we simplify all this experience when people are not just in a home, but while they are on mobile? And this is where we have introduced our new smart Wi-Fi router.
Okay, now explain to me, because sometimes, to me, it just seems like a solution that isn't broken. I don't see an issue with the problem right now. Right. What exactly is the issue with setting up Wi-Fi? Isn't it as easy as just, pressing a button on your router and going to your PC and saying, hey, connect to the router right away, or on your tablet, stuff like that? So what exactly is it that's simplifying this process of connecting devices?
Yeah, it was quite simpler to connect the devices when we talked 2 years back down the line, where we had just our laptop or desktop that we want to connect. Now with the increasing number of devices into the home, where now our smart TV coming in that needs to be connected, we have all these gadgets, which is tablets or smartphones we talked about, that needs to be connected. Our kids' gaming console now needs to be connected to the internet. And we are seeing a new wave of appliances, smart appliances coming. A company that wants to connect their devices on the network. To add all these devices into the home, it is becoming quite difficult, and this is where we as a Cisco is focusing is how can we build a partner ecosystem where our non-technology companies or non-networking company can bring their equipment and connect to our network. We can connect all these smart devices that we have sitting in the home, how we can connect with the press of the button. And this is where we have made this investment in a smart Wi-Fi router. It simplifies the whole installation process, because not just traditional IT equipment we're talking about. Now we're talking about the consumer electronics of the world and home appliances of the world coming in, and they would like to connect their devices because of the use scenario where consumer really wants to connect all these devices and have the right experience.
Okay, now considering you guys are Cisco, probably the biggest networking company in the world, and you have the authority to sort of make standards, is that a standard that you're planning on developing right now and then possibly licensing across to other competitors as well? Or is it more or less just going to be Linksys technology that will only be available on Linksys products or Cisco products?
It's not a standard. We have identified these trends, and we would like to use our technologies to simplify that for a consumer. And what we have done is basically we have simply built a software stack on our router that simplifies the whole installation processes. So that's one area. We are adding a new technology on our future routers, which is called near field communication. What NFC does is basically it allows you to connect the device by simple tapping on the device with the NFC tag. Most of these appliances and future AV products will come with the NFC tag that will be made available when you buy a product, and you just take out that tag, go and tap on our router, and it connects the device. So we are adding those technologies to simplify all the experience installation process. So that's one area. Second area, what we are seeing is with all these connected devices, we talked about seamless experience, where we are in a home or where we're in the move. What we are seeing is we would like to manage our network while we are not just in the home, while we are also on a move. So how do we simplify that? So we have offered a cloud services now on our router, And what cloud services does is basically it takes your experience over the web network, and it allows you to log into your home remotely wherever you are, and helps you manage your network. So whether it gives you experience like whether you are sitting in a home or you are on a move, you can simply log into your home network and you can manage all the devices that is sitting in the home.
Okay.
So
can you give us an example of what is it that I would like to do while I'm away that you want to use my home network for?
True. So as we said in the beginning, we would like to simplify the consumer experience. We like to make sure that when they have these devices, they manage the device properly, because growing number of devices adds more and more complexity to the network, and it's also you also are prone to some of the security threats, or your family is prone to some of the stuff that you don't want your family to visit, or some of the unauthorized websites or unfriendly websites that you don't want families to be exposed of. So a couple of things I'll give an example as is, while I'm on move, I want to make sure that my child spends the required amount of time on his Xbox rather than he's spending whole day playing the Xbox. How do I manage and control? Because whenever I go back home, he says, Dad, I just played for an hour. And his hour is sometimes 4 or 5 hours. So how do we make sure I control that? So what we have done with our cloud services is we have added an app called a device management app. What it does is basically whenever you have any device that gets logged onto the network, you get a message. Whenever you can know when the device came online and when it went offline, so you can manage and monitor that. So this way now, you can manage the device in the home even if you are remote, right? You can block the devices for a certain time period, or you can block the device per user basis. So that's one of the scenario where you can really control the way you want your kids to be on a network, or use the devices so that they have the right balance between their work and their fun part, right? So that's one area. We have added an app called Block the Bad, and what Block the Bad does is basically it blocks all the non-friendly website that you want your family not to visit or not to go into. So that's one area, so that you can manage remotely. I can go online and I can define all those websites as blocked on the network, so that any device on the network cannot access it. So that's another use scenario which we are seeing, and I'm seeing families are really worried because their kids are on Facebook or on these social networking websites, and they don't know whom they are talking with, they don't know whom they are interacting with. And so that's one of the area where we have seen a big challenge, and we have worked out with our developer community with this app that is going to help them out. We have another app called NetProofer. What NetProofer does is basically it helps you block or unblock a specific website on a specific devices. Like I don't want my 5-year sons to be on a social networking website because I don't think it's the right time, the right age for him to be there. So I can block his iPad, and I can block a certain website, which is a social networking website, not to visit all these websites. So I think it's more about the security when they are online. That's what we're talking about. One of the trend what we are seeing is video is becoming more and more visible part of our day-to-day life. The data we have is in the next 2 years, video will be 91% of the internet traffic. That's pretty massive, right, compared to the rest of them.
Yep.
And when we talk about video, it's not just sharing video or uploading video, downloading video. It's video streaming on your smart devices. It's video streaming on your smart televisions. It's video streaming on your laptop and desktop. And we all know that we have a very limited pipe coming in from our internet service provider. When all these devices, our internet, start streaming the video, we do see our experience get blurred, and we always see a buffering coming in on our TV. So when I want to have my time on the smart TV watching some of the high definition movie, and suddenly my son switch on his iPad and start streaming a YouTube video, and I'm seeing a buffering coming on my TV. So what we have done is basically we have added an app called media management app. What it does is basically it prioritizes your devices. So you can, with just simple tap, you can prioritize a device whether you want to have the right experience at the right time. And then you get and your device gets the maximum bandwidth available so that you get the right experience when you're watching your TV.
Okay.
So you can give a highest priority to your smart TV versus mid priority to your iPad and low priority to the rest of the devices. So when you have a video streaming coming in, your TV gets the highest priority. So that's one of the area we have added with our app services.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that a lot of these options were already available in enterprise quality hardware, which are you're sort of now bringing back to home. So, for example, QoS, as you mentioned, for device specific, all of that is now coming to home. Just a couple of real quick concerns as a parent that I have. For example, one of the biggest complaints I have is when I'm outside and my child calls or my wife calls. The first thing she says is the internet is not working. So if the internet is not working, it's very hard for me to actually connect to my home network to sort of troubleshoot anything for them. Sure. So that obviously is a big concern for me. A lot of times that is an issue. Is there anything that you guys have that can sort of self-repair the connection of the internet or anything along those lines? And then secondly, you mentioned your video is a big aspect of it. And one of the things that I'm concerned about is my kids going on YouTube and watching content that is not necessarily great for them or for their age. So I know that you can block apps or block certain websites, but can you sort of block content within those as well? Because YouTube's filtering doesn't necessarily always work the way it should work. A lot of times videos that, even if I set a very strict parameter for my kids not to access anything, that's even remotely obscene or anything at all, a lot of times people find a way around of uploading videos and, like letting kids sort of access content that they shouldn't be accessing. So, I mean, these are concerns that as a parent that I have, as far as networking is concerned. Could you tell me if Cisco is working on any of these areas or if there's anything that we can sort of look at?
Yeah. So to your answer to your first question, yes, definitely with our cloud services, if there is a connectivity in the home, you can definitely remotely log in with our cloud services and you can manage and fix the different parameters in the router.
Correct.
But if your internet link is down, then definitely there is no way you can log in. So, so I think that will be right now a limitation, because definitely once the link is down, you cannot really log into your home. But with our cloud services, what you can do is, as long as you have a connectivity to the router, you can go inside the router and fix the pipeline. My printer is not working. I got a call from my mom, and she lives like a kilometer away from my house. So I logged into her home, and then we fixed her printer remotely because I have an access to her network. So these are the areas that is available today, where you can really fix the devices and fix the different parameter of the devices. Back to your question on managing the content within a YouTube, we have not gone on to that detail, but just to give an idea what exactly we are doing is we have offered a software development kit for our router. That means is we are opening a developer community, whether it's iOS based or Android based or any other operating system based. They can develop an app for our router. So we have opened this community now, so we're getting a lot of registration. Initially, when we launched this Cisco Connect Cloud last month, we have launched 6 external apps and 6 apps within Cisco. But with this community coming in, we are seeing more and more ideas coming in, and the examples you gave is definitely a day-to-day life challenge, and we are seeing ideas and apps coming into those areas. So we cannot say that we are going to address this immediately, but these are the areas where I think user is really concerned, and we'll be seeing a really relevant app coming into those areas. Yesterday we got an idea from one of our colleagues, the virtual storage is key now. So there could be a possible app where you can offload all your content over through our cloud router. So I think we are seeding more and more ideas, and I think moving forward we'll have more and more visibility.
I think opening SDK is a pretty good idea.
Yes,
it allows a lot more flexibility.
Yeah. And again, it's just a beginning, because I believe the way this whole app and the consumer experience on the mobile devices is growing, we will see more and more ideas coming in as well.
You mentioned NFC as possible way of just connecting devices to it, which is, I think, is fantastic technology, but it's not necessarily available everywhere. My iPhone doesn't support NFC, for example, or the iPad. I think it's a pretty good idea if refrigerators or washing machines come with a tag that you can simply tap on your router and get them connected, that kind of stuff. How soon do you see NFC sort of becoming the standard for everything, or for connectivity?
I think we are seeing a lot of devices with NFC, like new Blackberries.
BlackBerry does have
the
it,
NFC
absolutely.
now. We are launching our first NFC in this fall. So we will have our first products that we're launching around October, November time frame. So we'll be ready with our NFC routers.
Okay.
I have seen a lot of companies part of NFC Alliance that they're working on to get the right NFC devices. So I believe that's the next wave of technology that will help us simplify the network. And the way we are seeing these appliances companies coming with their connected devices, I'm sure they're going to add these features.
Okay. And what about the future of wireless networking? I mean, we're at 802.11n right now. What is the next standard? What are the advantages of it? And what is Cisco doing in that area?
Yeah, I believe so. I think the AC technology will be the next one. That I have seen most of the suppliers coming up with the AC router, which was on a dual band, give you up to 750 Mbps connectivity, and definitely it's a three-dimensional in terms of this wavelengths. It gives you a better coverage, covers your blind spots, and with our launch of NFC AC router. We are launching the AC router with the NFC tag that we talked about.
Right.
And I believe that's the next standard.
Right.
Yes.
Great stuff. Looking forward to testing that out.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks very much for your time, Mohammed. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.